Hi, and welcome to NXT Today. This is NXT Today. Last night was NXT at Takeover Unstoppable. And I kid you not, last night's show was freaking amazing. Well, because of last week's copyright issues, I had no opening this week because I haven't really decided on how I'm going to do it yet. So, in the background, you hear Roar of the Crowd. But last night's show was freaking epic. The show opened up with Finn Balor versus Tyler Breeze to determine the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. But it was supposed to have been a triple threat match last night, but apparently something happened to where Hideo Itami was injured right as he came into the arena parking lot, and Kevin Owens walked past him and said, "That's a shame." So I don't know if Kevin Owens had something to do with it or what, but Triple H had said that Hideo Itami would not be able to compete last night. So the match opened up. Tyler Breeze had a weird new entrance. It was weird. And also, NXT has a new LED high definition stage. It was pretty cool. And then Finn Balor's entrance was freaking awesome. That match was pretty good. It continued for a while. And your winner was Finn Balor. Earlier on in the match, Finn Balor took the leap of faith off the staging area. That was awesome. The second matchup was Bayley and Charlotte versus Dana Brooke and Bayley. That match was good, actually. Yeah, that match was pretty good. Said I had made Unstoppable good so far at this point. After that, it was, well, for the weeks, yeah, the winner of that match was Charlotte and Bayley. But it had building up into the last two weeks. Rhino had gotten into it with Baron Corbin. So last week on NXT, he called out Baron Corbin to fight at Unstoppable. So last night at Unstoppable, it was Baron Corbin versus the undefeated Rhino. That match was good. In the very end, let's see. Baron Corbin defeated Rhino. Yeah, Rhino was defeated. Next up, it was the NXT Tag Team Championship. Blake and Murphy was defending their title against Azino Amore and Colin Cassidy. Team SAWFT Soft with Carmella at ringside. That match is quite entertaining, actually. Amore was tearing it up in the ring, and then as soon as Colin Cassidy came in, as soon as Big Cass came in, all hell broke loose on that. He had, I think it was Murphy on the ground. He stood on him and said, SAWFT Soft. So that match is just as they was about to defeat Blake and Murphy, Alexa Bliss comes out, attacks Carmella at ringside, and then Carmella throws Amore off the top rope, and he's pinned. 1, 2, 3. Blake and Murphy retain the NXT Tag Team Championship. So with the help of Alexa Bliss, so I don't know what's going on between all of them, but I don't know. I think that's kind of weird how Alexa and Bliss and so I'm thinking that maybe down the road there's gonna be a feud between Alexa Bliss and Carmella. That'll be a pretty damn good feud to watch on NXT. Up next, it was the NXT Women's Championship match. It was Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Before the match started, they took a video monologue of how the events led to this match. It showed how they started out as best friends in NXT, and then things started happening, and they got to the Fatal 4-Way match at NXT Arrival a few months ago, when it was Bayley versus Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, in which Sasha Banks pinned Charlotte to become the now NXT Women's Champion. The boss said she don't play, so before the match started, they showed them backstage getting ready, and they basically showed them entering from the backstaging area into the ring as the match was getting started. Sasha and Becky had to stare down for a quick minute, and then all the blows started piling up. And I kid you not, this match had to be one of the best Divas matches in NXT's history, because this match was freaking amazing. These fans were chanting, "This is wrestling. This is awesome." They was chanting Sasha Banks chants. They was chanting Becky Lynch chants. Some said, "Let's go Sasha." Some said, "Let's go Becky." They were also saying Sasha's ratchet. Other people was like saying, "No, they're not," including myself. But in the end, that match was pretty physical. But not only that, as that happened in that match, in the end, your winner, and still the NXT Women's Champion, Sasha Banks, the boss, because she's the boss. She's legit boss. And then we get to our main event. So again, it was talking about. So before the main event actually got underway, before they actually did all the entrances and stuff, they showed previews of highlights from how they was building up to the match. Basically, they was saying that how it all got started. You know, when Sami Zayn had debuted on Monday Night, a few weeks ago when Sami Zayn appeared on Monday Night Raw, Sami Zayn had gotten hurt, and then this past Monday night, Kevin Owens showed up on Raw to face off against John Cena in the United States Championship Open Challenge. But that didn't happen. Kevin Owens had other ideas, and he told John that what he did to Sami Zayn last time at NXT Rival, he was going to do the same to him. And Kevin Owens also said he was going to destroy Sami Zayn at NXT and Takeover Unstoppable. I'll get into more details of that here in a minute. Yeah. So once the build-up came, they all came out and everything. And, well, so they did the entrances. The match got underway, and already as the match had gotten underway, Kevin Owens was already attacking Sami Zayn. What had also happened was, oh yeah. We got started, and halfway through the match, at one point I thought Sami Zayn was going to take the title back, but things changed in a minute, in a heartbeat, as as that did not happen. So, yeah, that didn't happen. So, when the match was continuing, Sami Zayn got hurt and he was laying down He was laying down on the floor next to the ring, between the entrance ramp and the ring, and the referees came down to check. The medical personnel came down to check on him, but Kevin Owens wasn't giving up. Kevin Owens was continuing to attack Sami Zayn to try and hurt him. Well, they wasn't appreciating it, and they finally got him coming down. And yet again, Kevin Owens was attacking again, and then the match ended as a disqualification, but as a no contest. And right before NXT Takeover Unstoppable was about to go off, Samoa Joe, yes, I said it, ladies and gentlemen, Samoa Joe showed up to NXT. I mean, we had heard rumors that Samoa Joe had signed a contract with WWE, but it wasn't really considered official yet. So, but as soon as it was made, the rumors started spreading, and then the rumors started applying that Samoa Joe was going to debut at Unstoppable, which he did. And as soon as he came out, the crowd went wild. And I mean wild. Everyone was marking out. I was marking out. I hadn't marked out like that since Sting arrived at Survivor Series last year. That was friggin' amazing. I had been following Samoa Joe since he was in TNA. Well, back when I watched TNA, before they switched over to this whole Impact Wrestling thing. But I was so happy when I saw Samoa Joe come out. And I was just like, holy shit. Here we go. Holy shit. And I'm thinking, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, face to face in the ring. Oh, hell yeah. And Kevin Owens walked away, and Samoa Joe kept begging Kevin Owens to come back in the ring. But he didn't. And here's what Samoa Joe had to say after NXT Unstoppable went off the air.
Get your name in people's hands? Thank you.
So this is NXT. Now you see, I've always made it a point to compete in the hottest promotions in the world, and everywhere I looked, and everyone who asked told me one thing: Joe, if you want to do what you want to do, if you want to be with the very best and the most hungry and the most vicious, violent, and excellent pro wrestlers in the world, then you come to NXT. And if tonight is any indication of the competition I can expect, well, rest assured, Joe is happy and Joe is here. So consider this your warning. I am Samoa Joe. I am pro wrestling, and I am now here in NXT.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of NXT today. Don't forget to join me next week right here on PWC.